Hi guys, and welcome to the Karen School of Dance competition makeup tutorial. I am Miss Maggie, back with Miss Eve, and we are going to show you what we do in getting ready makeup wise for competition. I want to start this video off by prefacing that for some reason the first minute or so got cut off. So before we jump in here, I just wanted to point out that I had already put some eyeshadow primer on both of Evie's eyelids, and then I covered that primer with our darker shade of brown. I believe it's called Mulch, and I covered her entire eyelid with that, as you can see. And then what I do is I go in with the black color for the outer corner of the eyes. And I usually put a makeup wipe down as kind of a guide for, where the eyeshadow is going to lay. So I will put it from the corner of her eye to the end of her eyebrow. And it kind of gives me a really good guide for laying down that dark black color where it needs to be. So I lay it down right on the outer corner and then blend in a little to that original brown that we laid down first to make it kind of more seamless and less edgy looking, more blended. Next, we go in to the inner corner with the lightest shade. I believe it's called Nylon, and that brightens up the eye a lot. So I take that lighter shade and I put it right on the inner corner of both eyes like so. Oops, she's showing me her iPad. And then the final step to the eyeshadow is to take that lighter brown, all that glitters, and kind of swipe it high on the lid in between the light inner corner and the dark outer eye, and it blends all of those shades in perfectly, creating a nice smoky eye for competition. And just kind of make sure it's all blended. It does not have to be perfect, but it does have to be there. And so coming back to why I do the eyeshadow first, it's just so much easier to clean up when you don't have to worry about ruining the rest of the makeup you have already done. So now I'm going to go in with a eye pencil for the bottom waterline. And I know that this seems super difficult. I promise they get used to it. You just need to let them blink as much as possible, as you can see. Try to be patient. I know it's hard, but you're going to go ahead and line with a pencil that bottom waterline. Now I'm going in with a liquid felt tip eyeliner on the top. This is going to last longer than the pencil. It's highly recommended that you use something like this that dries on matte and lasts all day. Now I go from the very inner corner of the eye to the very outermost part of the eye, kind of following that line that we created in the eyeshadow with the makeup wipe. Now I'm going in with a little bit of face primer. This is not mandatory, but I find that it does help the girls' makeup stay all day long. They can, run around and be messing around with friends, and then obviously they are dancing hard, working hard all day, so we want that makeup to last. So I go in with some makeup primer. The primer that I use is the e.l.f. Hydro Grip primer. So now we're gonna go right into the foundation. I use a beauty blender to blend out the girl's foundation. So I take it and I put it on the sponge and I cover the entire face just like this. Pat it into the skin, make sure it's nice and even. Have a little conversation with your daughter. Tell her good luck. Tell her she's going to do great. So once it is all even like this, I grab some concealer. For competition, I find like the lighter the better, just to make sure everything really pops on stage. And this is where I put it, but it's not necessary to put it like on all the high points of the face. However, we do recommend that you definitely get that under eye. And like I said, if you sculpt it, like blend it out right up to that edge of that eye makeup there, and it just gives it a nice clean look. Oh, don't make sure you don't go over the eye makeup you did like I just did. Okay, so now that that is all set, fix that eye makeup that you just covered over. And now that that is all done, you're going to go in with a little bit of like translucent setting powder just to make sure that that makeup is not going to move all day, and you don't want to leave it tacky for a full day of dance for sure. So now I'm going to go in with bronzer, and I usually sculpt out the cheekbones like so. Put some right on that cheekbone, really heavy, and then blend it out so the line isn't so harsh. I am using right now a matte bronzer that is darker than her skin tone as kind of a contour, to make sure that like all of those things that we want defined stay defined. And then I go in and like I said, I blend it out so everything isn't so super harsh. The next step is I'm going to go in with my actual bronzer, not my contour. And what I use is like the MAC bronzer, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color to the face. And I kind of use a lighter, fluffier brush for this. Just it's to add color to the face and not to define the face. So you can be a little as liberal or as conservative with that bronzer as you want. Now I'm going in with the blush, the MAC blush. And I start kind of at the high point of the cheek, like up towards the ear, and go down like right along that cheekbone and make sure that it's really pigmented. And then something that I do that is absolutely not required, but I do feel like makes a difference, is I put just a little bit of highlighter on those high points that we want to really stand out on stage. Just the bridge of the nose and the high points of the cheekbone. And I think it just really kind of makes everything pop on stage. So after all of the foundation and bronzer and setting powder, the eye makeup has dulled just a little bit, so you go in and you touch up what you want, but as long as the base is already laid down, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. With all that makeup on the face, sometimes their little eyebrows can get lost, so I choose to go in with an eyebrow tint, nothing too dramatic, nothing too drastic, but just to make sure they're showing up on their face and not being washed out by all the makeup we've put on. Now I sprayed just a little bit of setting spray on her face. Like I said, that is not mandatory. However, it does help the makeup to last as long as they need it to. It's mascara time, and I feel like this is probably the most tedious part that I experience with my girls. I always do the bottom lash first, so that way when you're doing the top lash, the bottom lash has time to dry. It won't get on the rest of their face, whereas if you do it in reverse, you run the risk of when they look up, their eyelashes hitting kind of like their brow bone and transferring some of that wet mascara. Okay, now on to the most intimidating part, or what I feel like most new dance moms feels like is the most intimidating part of this makeup, and that is the false eyelashes. A couple of tips I can give you going into it is to make sure that the lash glue that you choose to use for your child is clear. I have a few different clear lash glues. They all work well. And also to make sure that the eyelash that you are using is cut down to the size of your dancer's eye. That is super important. If it is too long, you run the risk of it falling off prematurely or really irritating your dancer's eye, or both. I've had all of those things happen. So I make sure that the eyelash is cut down to the size of my dancer's eye. I apply the eyelash glue to the eyelash, and then I let it sit for about 20 to 30 seconds. Blow on it. Make sure the glue is nice and tacky before you apply it to the eye. If you apply the eyelash glue to your eyelash and try to put it on right away, you're going to be left in a situation where it doesn't adhere to the eye quickly, and your dancer is moving around and you're trying to get it to stick. So I definitely recommend that you let the glue get tacky before you place it on the eyelid. It just makes things a lot easier and a lot less frustrating for your dancer. So once the eyelashes are applied, also just to note, once I place the eyelash on my girl's eyes, I blow on it, make sure it's nice and secure to the eye, and then blow on it to make sure the glue is nice and dry. After that, I go in with the mascara. I find I prefer doing the mascara after the false eyelashes are on the eye, because it kind of helps the false eyelash blend in with their natural lashes, making it a more seamless look. So then, like I said, I do the mascara on the top of the eyelashes. And then the eyes are done. Okay. Oop, got a little on her cheek. So the next part and the final part is going to be the lips. It is not required, but I do recommend going in with a lip liner before you apply the lipstick, because it gives you a better idea of where to place the lipstick before you go in with it. A lot of times, the lipstick can get smudged or smeared before it's dried completely, or, your dancer will get distracted and look the other way while you're trying to apply this bright red lip, and it gets super frustrating. So I find that doing the lip liner as a guide is super helpful. That way you're not having to get that lipstick right up to the edge of the lip and risk, ruining all the makeup that you have just done. Now this is what the full face of makeup is going to look like when you are all done. This is my middle daughter, Catherine, at our most recent competition. And then this is what it will look like on stage. So I know that this all can seem like a lot, especially if you have a younger dancer. It can seem very dramatic and a little bit over the top, but I promise that at the end of the day, it's going to look amazing on stage. So kind of trust the process. And if you have any questions, feel free to come to the front desk and ask. Thank you so much.